bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for Bring 'em Out with your hosts, Joel Richardson and Alan Hill.
Hey everybody, we're here in the Sunnybrook Ballroom inside the Speakeasy for another episode of Bring 'em Out. I'm Alan Hill, here with Soul Joel himself, Joel Richardson. Today we have a very special guest, man about to headline in the Melody Room this evening, Mr. Chip Chantry.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm very excited. I did not know it was called the Melody Room, and I'm much more excited now. I mean, I was excited, but
Feels more official.
Chip Chantry, he did the Melody Room.
Yeah. Not to brag, Sinatra once played here, but not the Melody Room.
Yeah. He did the Harmony Lounge next to the men's room.
Raymond the Amish Comic has done the Melody Room.
Okay, there you go. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God, yes.
Yeah. So we have the wall, and I just showed Chip the Wall of Fame of the comics that did inside Roarers 4 when we first opened up. But this is why we always talk about this. There's one show going on for the comics. There's one for the audience. So Chip actually headlined probably 4 years ago this week. Like it was
like to the day almost.
To the day
yeah,
almost,
yeah.
right? But Chip texted me when he was like, by the way, congratulations on opening a club. I'm so happy for you. Really looking forward to the December show. By the way, my parents just couldn't help themselves. They'll be at the show tonight to see Kevin Brennan.
Yeah, so they didn't wait for me. They just said, no, we'll just...
And of all people, they came to see Brennan?
Brennan, yeah.
Bro, were they
was
prepared?
It because he was a local guy and was from...
I have no idea if
Because it's gone off the
yeah,
deep.
it's like not like that they're like super huge like into comedy
Big
fans.
comedy
I mean,
nerds
they
or
like
anything,
comedy, but it's not
yeah.
like they're comedy nerds to know. They might have come with friends or something like that.
Oh,
but yeah,
okay.
They didn't wait for.
They subjected friends to Brennan?
Yes. Yeah.
Brennan once told me that I should go home and have sex with my mother after the show.
Yeah. That's Thank God I wasn't at that show. Yeah. God.
Dude, it was so cool too because your brother was at the show, and then your brother wasn't yet gonna teach my niece because my niece was a grade below, but like he told her, it's like, oh, by the way, next time have your niece come. She started talking, and another teacher overheard the conversation and came over and was like, oh, your Uncle Soljo? And my niece was like, I'm talking to Mr. Chantry right now. I was like,
Big time the math teacher. Math teacher. Oh my God, you're Uncle Soljo. Yeah. Did she call you Uncle Soljo? Yeah. Uncle Soljo's coming over.
I'll see
again.
myself
Jeez.
out.
Yeah.
But how did you make the transition, man? Was it like overnight, or was it a slow, like from teaching full time to being a comic full time?
You know, I got a quick funny story about that.
We got plenty of time.
Yeah, I know. I got a quick little funny story about that. Is this the appropriate time to do this? Should we do this now on camera? Do I be charming and witty? Should I do that?
Good guest.
Sitting at home watching YouTube, you degenerates. Watch network television. Put on Hulu. You're watching this. Oh, we got wine. This is the Uncle Soljo show. Raymond the Amish Comic over here.
Oh, do you see what he did there? Nice twist.
That was awesome.
Well, we just got extended.
I'm not allowed to be holding this microphone.
What a
Get
stupid thing to say.
struck down. Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt your question, Joel, but I have a quick funny story.
I feel like Janet from the Muppets is going to open up at one point. You know what I mean? Like, just like, hey.
Oh, that's so funny.
So I was a teacher. Yeah, I taught fourth grade for years. I was doing stand-up at night, and my parents, great, like the greatest people, and they were always super supportive. Would always come out to see me, but they're parents and they're logical, and they're like, "This is great that you're doing this."
Yeah.
But like, you have a job and a pension and a retirement benefits. Like, why would you don't give this up? Do it on the weekend and summers. And I always wanted to go out and do it.
Full disclosure, your dad actually told me that if he had to guess which one of his two sons would have done this, he said your other brother.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, interesting.
100%.
He goes, Chip, I thought would have been the family man, settled down.
Yeah.
He goes, and not. He goes, and
total role reversal. My brother is, because he's like, my brother's good at everything. He's a musician. He's in bands for years. He was a teacher, now the planetarium director. He's just but he was always the wild one. I was always the straight laced, like good student, like whatever, all that stuff. And But they were like, I can't believe I was this shy kid, and I did theater and stuff like that. So like I liked being on stage, but they were always like cautiously optimistic of like, hey, do this, but why would you give up your day job? And I opened for Saget for a while. Like I was opening for Bob, and Bob was like,
so
great to me.
cool.
He was so good to me and would take me around with him. And he said, one night we were hanging out after show, and we were just talking music, and he's like, he brought up that he's friends with the Beach Boys. And, like, I was raised on the Beach Boys, love the Beach Boys. My parents, it's like their favorite band.
Huge.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, if they're in Philly, let me know. I'm friends with them. I'll just get you tickets, you know? And we had seen them growing up so many times.
But were you like hesitant, be like, is he just being nice? Or could you tell he was being sincere?
I could tell he was being sincere,
Okay.
although, like, you hate asking for things.
Right.
I hate asking for
No.
things.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah. So I just Bob and I were doing the music box at the Borgata, and this is like October of 2014.
Now that's a good gig.
I mean, the music box, I love that room. And so I was opening for Bob on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
I looked on the website a couple weeks ahead of time just to see if the show was there.
On the Borgata's
on
website.
the Borgata's website. The night before, the Beach Boys were playing the same room.
Touchdown.
Whoa.
Just like, I was like, oh my. So I texted Bob, and I was like, hey, do you, like, are you going to be there by any chance the night before, the Beach Boys? And he was like, no, I'm not going to be there, but just give me 3 days. 2 days later, I get this email from the touring manager of the Beach Boys. It was like, hey, Chip, Bob said you're friends with him. I got you 4 front row seats and 4 backstage passes.
Wow.
Meet me an hour before the show. Come back. I'll let you meet the Beach Boys.
Come on.
Whoa,
So-
wait, now let's not even play this game.
Yeah.
But what 3 people are you bringing?
I exactly. So it was going to be my parents and my brother, right?
Okay.
My wife, she's not like a huge Beach Boys fan or anything. So,
But she's great.
but she's wonderful. She's in the other room. She's in the green room right now. But she was like, no, I don't want to go. So it was obviously my parents. My brother couldn't make it, so I brought my buddy Rob Banowitz. He was a comedy guy in Philly. He's out in L.A. now, and he's a huge fan. So I brought them backstage to meet the Beach Boys. And that was the night where my parents were basically like, all right, your dumb jokes got us to meet the Beach Boys, like, whatever. Like, just and
That
it's
was
not
the
like,
turning
That
moment.
was the moment. And it wasn't like, you know, I needed their permission. I was a grown man, but also you want you want to make them
It feels good,
It feels
dude.
good. And that was kind of like, they're like, all right, we met the Beach Boys. You're cool, you know? And
you could not be closer. And I always say this to comics. I'm like, that's the best gig, one of the best gigs anyway,
Yeah.
on the East Coast, if
Yeah.
not the country.
Yes.
You're at the Borgata. It's such a nice place, you know.
I love it there.
Top notch.
Yeah.
I never had it, but I heard the buffet amazing.
It's great. It's
I've
so
had the
good.
buffet.
It's so
I used
good.
to go there and play blackjack with my old man.
Yeah. And and then the next night they came to see me and Bob, and Bob was just like super sweet to him, wouldn't leave him alone, like in the green room.
So yeah, it's not the normal 3 comic show.
It was
Now
just
you're
the two
opening
of
for
us.
Bob
It's
Saget.
For Saget, yeah.
Oh, what a weekend!
So it was just wild.
What,
So-
what does your Sunday look like?
Was
at
I
that
know,
point?
I'm just-
Was
yeah.
Stamos playing with the Beach Boys?
I wish. I wish.
Because he does. It's a legit thing.
My 10th birthday present was to see. This is a blast of the past. To see the Beach Boys with Stamos on drums. This is Kokomo era.
Yeah.
At the Valley Forge Music Fair.
Oh, the 360
In the
stage.
round.
Yeah.
We saw that was my 10th birthday present. Was
Oh, that's
Beach
so
Boys with
awesome.
Stamos in the round. Yeah.
So he's the reason why we do the podcast. He's a music teacher for
Yeah.
25 years.
Yeah.
So
I teach
he's got the
private
music
guitar and
background. I
bass.
got the comedy. Yeah.
Oh, that's all. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. I love music. So, and your brother's a musician too?
He's a musician. He's like good at everything. He's a drummer. He was in like bands for years. And I mean, the first time I ever did stand up was I opened for his band.
Get
just
out.
Just a Fergie's Pub in Philly. And
That's
like,
awesome, though.
Yeah,
Hey, you guys are lukewarm.
How did that go over?
Please welcome the band.
Oh God, it was. I will say this. You know how opening for musicians is
Yeah.
Oh, it's
terrible.
brutal.
It's
Yeah.
terrible. It's upstairs at Fergie's. It's this small room.
No one's even expecting you.
Right.
Who are there to see
Some
you?
people were. Some people were actually.
Oh,
and it
oh,
was,
oh.
Here's the thing. It
Family
was-
So
friends.
you were on the bill.
It was all yes. I still have the flyer hanging in
awesome.
my house. It was all family and friends. It was totally stacked in my favor. So like I figured I'd go bomb and then like move on to my next bucket list thing. But like I wasn't good.
Oh, so
But,
this
like,
was your first gig.
my first time ever on stage, but it was all
Oh.
friends and family. So I
Which is worse.
murdered.
Oh.
I just murdered because it's all
The
friends
kind
and family.
crowd.
But I
You're
think
doing
I was
yeah.
all right.
You're
for
doing
the first
inside
time.
baseball.
But like yeah, they were
Even the
they're gonna
family
laugh.
thing would only go so far.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah, exactly. You need friends. So I did. You need. They're not gonna. The family isn't gonna cut it. So yeah. So I did it, and I was like, oh my god. Like, and you probably remember this. Like, and like being on stage and everything. Like, again, it was set up in my favor. So like, I did great because it was everybody I knew. But like, I still viscerally feel like of all the things I've done in my life, I still viscerally feel that first wave of laughter I ever got. Like,
It's
I can
why
picture
you do it again.
But I've just been chasing the dragon
Dude, for real.
15 years plus. Like,
Not even the Beach Boys of Bob Saget.
no, it's just that first fake laughter from that nice laughter from it, but it just like rolled off and as a comedian, money's great and like fame and like I would love to
doing it for a living.
but it's all about trying to, and I've gotten better laughs, smarter laughs, bigger laughs. I've performed for 2,000 people. There was 70 people in a small room. I've never felt that wave of laughter. Like, I was done as a human being. I was like, this is all I ever want to do now. This is it.
Right.
Perfect sense.
Yeah.
Perfect sense. I got a standing ovation at an open mic one time.
Oh, my
God. In a room full of jaded musicians.
Oh, my.
Right?
What did you do?
Good question, Chip. Yeah. Our guests ask the best questions in the
great question. Nobody ever followed up on this story that way.
Dare you? What did you do?
Well, I took a guitar solo, right?
Yeah.
And in the middle of the guitar solo, I held a note.
And it's just you on stage, solo.
No. I was with a band.
Okay, yeah.
This was another guitar player, bass, drummer, and DJ. This was the 90s. And,
So he was in Lincoln Park. Okay.
right, yeah.
That was funny for our generation.
Yeah.
Man. So,
See, kids back in the day. Yeah.
Give me something to break.
do a James Madden. Lincoln Park was a band in the
Yeah.
So I held this note. It started feeding back just perfectly, like Hendrix in the. Not that I'm fucking Hendrix. That sounded horrible.
No, but yeah.
You know what I'm saying. And I had this delay pedal that
Yeah.
that repeats notes for people that don't know.
Yeah.
And if I put one knob in a certain spot and tweak the other knob, it started going. I played with that knob for 2.5 minutes, just tweaking the delay.
You're Johnny Greenwood.
Yeah, totally. And then
Yeah.
I came out of the thing with some cool licks,
Yeah.
and then I ended the solo, and I got a standing ovation.
Oh, my God. What are you doing here in the melody room?
Yeah,
My
I don't
God.
know, man. I'm just listening to Piano Man every week, wondering why I never got my big break.
Wow.
That's incredible. That is incredible.
But Chip, so I mean, you mentioned off camera that you've written for different TV shows, but you've also not only kept chasing the dragon and performing, but you've done a really good job of also teaching.
Yeah.
Now you used your previous
That's
job
so cool.
and
Yeah.
applied it to comedy.
Yeah.
So you're able to like find different ways in this business to make a living.
I love doing it, and part of it is got to pay the bills, but it's
But take pressure off
right.
other
it's
ways to pay the bills.
Exactly, because I'm not killing it. Like I'm working steadily, but it's like I don't have my Netflix special. So
Right,
it's so I was offered
It's a
the
grind.
chance. Yeah, I was offered the chance to teach the class at Helium. I've been doing this since like 2017, and like I love it because it's like I always feel bad because like I was a teacher and I always had one foot out the door because I was always running to do shows or running off for the weekend to do comedy, and now I have
It
the
wasn't
chance.
if, it was when.
Exactly. So then when I left and then I was given the chance, and I love teaching, and it's my favorite thing to talk about, stand-up
Yeah.
comedy. So it's
Right.
like,
Your favorite
why would
subjects.
you not? Yeah, think about what's your favorite subject. Yeah, what do you? Yeah, it's like some people love math, some people love history, and it's I love stand-up, and I was able to like put the curriculum together, and like I've been doing it for 6-7 years now, and it's so much fun.
And you get to keep the curriculum.
yeah,
right,
it's mine. Yeah.
And how long does the class go? Like, how does it work?
It's a 6-week class. It's like a 3 hours on a Sunday morning for 6 weeks, and then they do the grad show.
Yeah.
And it's just it's so much fun. Like I just love connecting with that. And then since then, I've been doing other things. I'm working for this company over in Jersey now that we do basically like workshops and keynote speeches for teachers.
Okay.
So we go into school districts, and now I'm teaching. I'm doing it the other way. I'm teaching teachers how to use humor in the classroom.
That's fascinating.
Right,
Yeah,
so
it's
it's like
the power of laughter.
right. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like I love kind of getting into the nuts and bolts of like what physically makes people laugh, or like too like when you're teaching a class, like I'm starting at the beginning with so it's made me better because it makes me go back to the rudiments of
Right.
this is what a joke is, this is
Right.
how you do it. So it's just made me better. But like, so I just love going in and like looking at humor kind of almost scientifically, and like here's how you can apply it in your everyday life, here's how you can use it in the classroom here. And like I'm starting to do some corporate stuff too, where it's like training businessmen how to like, here's how to appropriately use humor, and here's how to connect. It's all about connecting. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing I teach in my stand-up class is, and I think this is true, it's like the number one goal of a stand-up comedian is not to get laughs. Laughter is not number one. Number one is to connect with a group of people, with a group of strangers, relate to a group of strangers. The laughter will come then. If you can, I can be saying the funniest stuff in the world, but if I'm on a different sphere than that, do you know what I mean? Like if I'm not connecting with this crowd.
I just had an epiphany.
Yeah.
A whole lot of tumblers just fell into place for Joel.
Turns out that's why I own a comedy club. I've been doing it wrong for 17 years.
See Joel next Tuesday night in the Connections Lounge. Yeah. He'll make eye contact with you. He will make eye contact and talk about things that relate to your life.
I go up there, host a show in 8 minutes, feel the heat, I get out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes total. I mean, not that I'm not doing it subconsciously, but so often you're just trying to get the laughs and like set up, punch, set up, punch. But and I always say that, like, if you go to Connecticut, you go to Pennsylvania, you go to New Jersey, you can't say the same material.
Yeah.
You got to present it a different way, but you just trimmed the fat and made it simple.
And like I fall into that trap too. Like sometimes, like I think I consider myself to be a pretty good writer. I can write funny jokes. I know how to do that. There are times where I'm up on stage doing 45 minutes or whatever. I'm a half hour in, and I feel like, do you feel like like I'm doing, like I'm doing comedy at people.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like I'm just performing my jokes, and it's
going
like,
through the motions.
I need to make sure I'm like not pander. I don't, a pander or like, and I'm not even like a big crowd work guy. I know that's the big thing now. I don't really love crowd work, but it's just, am I meeting them on their level?
Right.
Am I hitting them in a way that makes them laugh? You know, because like I wanted to be like an alt comic, be like Mr. like whatever. Yeah. So I was always trying to think of like the weirdest things to talk about.
Right.
Yeah.
And people were always like, they would stare at me. And then I was like, oh, and again, I had this epiphany. Somebody, I'm sure, taught me this. It's not like I came up with this, but it's like, don't talk about weird things. Talk about normal things in a weird way.
Okay.
So like,
okay,
I'm going to talk about like the old-timey bicycle that has one big wheel or whatever. People are like, what are you talking about? But if I'm like, oh, we're going to go to the grocery store, but I'm going to say it in a new, original way. Like, do you ever think of a grocery store like this?
Yeah.
Then you can connect with, because everybody's been to the grocery store. So it's like,
For me, it's like the first time I see someone scrolling on their phone or like yawning, I'm like,
yeah.
I lost one person. I can't focus on the 8 people that are laughing.
Yes. Yeah. You had 8? You had 8 once?
I should have said 80.
80, yeah. He's still staying single-digiting himself.
Brutally honest about it.
I love that's honesty is the key to
Road
comedy.
2 was loving me.
And by the way, you used the wrong minutes when you said 30 minutes into Joel.
Yeah, it's. But
cuts
it's
out
true.
after 8.
Like you've done big shows. We've done like opening for other comics. Like, and then you have those shows where it's 6 people, and it's like, and sometimes those can be the best, and a lot of times they're not.
You've done so well too. Like when we had Ben Bailey for the first time.
Love Ben,
and you opened for him, but it's because you had that relationship, like I'm sure you had with Bob Saget. So, like, do you do anything differently, or are you just like yourself and just how you cool, and then like you just develop a relationship? You know, like
and like I've never been great with like. Because like the big thing now is like you kind of want to hook onto a headliner so they'll take you around, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Just kind of be yourself. I've never been that guy to like sell myself like that. Like I was very lucky with Bob. He would use me on the East Coast, and it just so happened that I worked with Ben a couple times, and like Todd Glass is a really good friend of mine. So like I open for Todd all the time.
Dude, he's one of my favorites.
He's one of the best.
he's got to tell you this Todd Glass story.
Yeah.
Well, if there's 2, which one?
The one from
the Doylestown?
Comedy Cabaret.
Oh, okay.
Well, I shouldn't have said that, but whatever.
Yeah.
So the short of it is, there was a drunk in the front row who, right before I got there, you know how Todd brings the jazz band sometimes, right? And he had gone up on stage and started banging.
I was on the show.
Dude, you were there.
I was on that show.
That was you that opened up. I've been trying to figure out who opened up for
I was
years.
on that show.
So you know where I'm going.
Yes.
Lights come on an hour and a half into Todd's set that was supposed to end half an hour earlier, and they go back and forth.
Yeah.
It was one of the great, and Todd apologized on his podcast for that show afterwards.
Yeah.
When I saw him 6 months later at John and Peters in New Hope, I told him, please stop apologizing for that show. It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life.
It's great, yeah.
My buddy and I left after the show.
Yeah.
We're starting to recount the show as we're driving out of there. You get to that traffic light as you're leaving, right?
Yeah.
I had to hop out of the car with stomach spasms because I've been laughing so hard for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. I
Yeah.
can't believe that was you, Chip. I've been
Todd-
trying to put this together since it
Yeah.
happened.
That's so awesome.
And Todd was like, he's just the best. He's just so funny
Well, nice
and, just,
and funny
just
and
and
nice.
he's doing the band stuff, and
Yes.
it's a whole it's there's stand-up comedy, and then there's what he does, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, I mean, he can do stand-up comedy. It's great, but it's like it's a whole experience.
It's unique,
It's a
man. He
whole
brings
experience.
his gels and puts them on the lights in the green room. He does the
Yeah,
whole thing.
it's everything. It's
And you've been on the Todd Glass show, right?
Yeah, oh,
Which is
it's-
one of the coolest podcasts of all time.
it was so much fun. We did it. And he like literally behind his house had the it was like the old, I don't know if you call it a carriage house, like garage,
yeah,
and he just
yeah.
turned it into the coolest studio in the world. And it's just like felt so special.
So
doing it.
cool
Yeah.
to me, man.
Do you think it's
So
a
cool.
coincidence that like 2 out of the 3 of those comics are from Philly originally, or that's kind of how you made the connection?
Yeah, I mean, because like Todd, Todd's from Philly. Bob was from outside Philly. Like it's I think there is that there was
connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because it's like how it is too. Like East Coast comics is the Northeast. It's its own breed. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
even if like Todd had been gone for years, Bob had been. They both LA guys for years, but like
Yeah.
they came up through Philly and like even just were brought up in this area, and it's a different vibe than the Midwest or.
Big
Well,
time.
and even like again talking off camera or talking about the UCB and going out to LA, you still would be they'd be like, who's this edgy comic?
Oh yeah. Oh, I used to do that. I'm not super dirty. I try not to be super edgy. Like, and not even that I try. It's just that's the way I am. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
dirty. I'm
yeah.
not. And but I would go out like Portland, Oregon,
Yeah.
and like just it was during a it was during one
They
of
assume
Bob's
there's
shows.
just tattoos under this shirt.
Yes, yeah. Just it was during the week I worked with Saget. The week I met him was at Helium in Portland.
Okay.
Oh.
And Saturday night, late show, the one bouncer came back and he's like, "Look, I just want to tell you, we're going to deal with it, but it is a bit of a rowdy crowd out there. It's a rowdy crowd." So I was like, "All right." So like, I went out and like put my Philly game face on, right?
Yeah.
And was out there, and literally like they were fine, and literally this one like hipster kid during one of my jokes was like kind of talking in the front row, like off to the side, and I literally just turned to him and did like the Philly. I was just like,
Yeah.
like just like side-eyed him, like
Yeah.
he melted, just like, and he like felt horrible. I did not say a word to him, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I am like,
Yeah.
I am not Philly tough, but like,
Yeah.
Portland, it's the you come from Philly. It is you can like some people say like if you can do Philly,
Yeah.
you can do any town.
Well, yeah, dude. Did you look at the staff and the bouncer and be like, dude, there's a reason why the mothership of Helium is in Philly.
Yes.
Like that's where I got
Exactly.
trained, dog.
Yes, I mean that's where you come up. Like I had knives pulled on me, fist fights. Like when we first started, and I was this kid, and I'm like, hey everybody, what's the deal with buses? Like nothing. I was not crazy, and like you would get like we came up like.
Yeah, you're talking about the Laugh House in South
oh
Street,
my
or
God.
wherever, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? All those places.
Yeah, just like these corner bars where they weren't ready, and they would turn off. They would
Oh.
turn off the Flyers game and be like, "It's time for comedy," and I'm like, "Do you want us to be murdered?"
Yeah, the Flyers are in the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and they would turn off and it's time for comedy, and then you have to go, and they're like, "Do you want your $25? You better go stand up there for
Yeah,
15
I'll
minutes."
get paid at Taco Tuesdays and drink tickets.
Yes, yes. And so it's like, oh, I can like we did this open mic. Me and my two buddies that started together, we did this corner bar open mic in Philly for like 3 years, and literally nothing can hurt me. Like
Yeah.
nothing can hurt my feelings, like because I just became so like. We just went through the fire with that, and it's like, literally nothing.
And
can
then
hurt
when
me
you
as well.
go to a place like the Music Box, the Brigada, opening for a guy, like it's like hot knife through butter.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you appreciate every little
It's
bit
the
of it,
best.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you ever do the Grape Room in Manayunk?
Oh yeah.
Because that's the thing, musicians and comedians. I
Not-
played the Grape Room many
not
times.
the-
Great.
Not to brag.
Scooter. The,
Talking, yeah.
Yeah.
And talking about people not giving a crap.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
talking about the owners. I'm
No,
talking
but
about
like,
the crowd.
yeah.
really?
Yeah. My buddy Silas, I love Silas. He runs the open mic there. He's one of the
get out.
funniest dudes in the world. He runs the mic there. It's
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
great. Yeah.
Is,
Yeah,
it,
but
is,
it's
it, is it on Tuesday nights?
Tuesday nights. Yeah.
Because I think guys come here and then head
And then
back
go
to
down.
Philly.
Oh, no kidding.
And then,
Yeah.
and then
Well, that
hit
makes
that one
sense.
on the way back,
Yeah.
which
Cool.
I always thought is cool, man.
That's very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
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 Mic running.
That's
Love
awesome,
it.
man.
Yeah.
So what do you got? Anything coming up that you're excited about?
Just
the year coming up?
Just I'm trying to do more without getting like all into it. I'm trying to do more online stuff, so I'm definitely going to be on Instagram. If you follow me at Chip Chantry, just Instagram, everything, just at Chip Chantry. Trying to do some more online stuff, doing some like more. I hate the word content. Doing some more content, doing some more short videos.
Well, dude, that video promoting this show, and it's as silly as it is. I always ask the comics to do it. He did one with his dog, and as soon as he did it, it could have been a coincidence. But I texted him like, dude, we just sold 20 more tickets. I go, I think your dog helped. He goes, Joel, my dog always helps.
The man is a legend. That little guy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Franklin knows how to do it.
Franklin, that's right.
He can move tickets.
Yeah, you
can move tickets.
gave him
That's
a
a
human
good Philly
name.
dog name.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You got.
What about there was one thing? Oh, this is probably. I mean, this is years ago, but you were ahead of the curve in a lot of ways with the internet stuff, doing like the Deck the Hall and Oates.
Yeah.
I was just watching that on the way up again.
Oh yeah.
And it's so funny.
I still get recognized. My wife and I just bought a house. We were in South Philly. We were just in a new neighborhood in South Philly, and the second night we were there, we're walking down the street, and some woman comes up and was like, "You're Deck the Hall and Oates." Like, this is 12 years ago, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Deck the Hall and Oates," and like it still has this weird life. I literally, so like, basically, you can see it on YouTube. It's like this.
Does your wife smile for you, or she get annoyed?
Yeah, she gets It's not like I get.
Just let me have this.
Yeah, I was like, let me have this one. It's like I walk down the street all the time and get mobbed by people. No. Yeah,
That's cool, man.
but yeah, we did this video of where it was like a fake commercial for this album where we did Christmas songs to Hall and Oates tunes and called Hall and Oates. And I was literally just bored one night, beginning of December. I just wrote like 2 lyrics to like Hall and Oates songs, like something came in my head. I was like, and I talked to John McKeever from Bird Text,
He was
Delco Proper and all those guys.
Oates.
Him and Tommy Pope. And
Pope was
the mustache guy.
Oh, Pope was the
Pope was the mustache guy. Tommy Pope was the mustache guy. McKeever shot it and narrated it, and he really edited it. He did all that.
That was Pope.
Yeah,
Wow.
and so that's Tommy Pope. And so we literally, and he was like, "Oh, we should do this." We shot it on like December 15th or something like that. And by the time he got it together, it was like December 19th. And he was like, let's not put it out because it's almost Christmas. It was almost past. And he's like, well, let's just do it. And so we put it out on YouTube, whatever, shared it on Facebook. Woke up the next day, it was like 10,000 views.
What?
And like Philadelphia
Overnight,
Magazine's
just
calling me, and just like VH1 called
That's
it one
what
of the best parodies of the year. Like, it was just this crazy thing that was just like, and then the worst part is like, we were always gonna like recreate it or like do it more, and I just always got on some other project. I would love to do more music stuff, and I just don't. I don't. I
will
would do it more.
do whatever guitar you need if you
Amazing.
ever want to revisit that.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, just because I love music too, so it's like bringing it all
You can
together.
borrow my mustache.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, and you're always hitting so many different angles there too.
If
with
I
music
just focus, Joel, I can make something of myself.
No, it's amazing, man. Well, thanks for coming on, brother.
Oh, thank you. This is great.
Yeah,
thank you
so
so
much,
much,
man.
So much fun.
Yeah.
What a blast.
Yeah, this is awesome.
And what's all your social handle? At Chip Chantry?
At Chip Chantry on everything.
Yeah. You made it simple.
Yeah.
From a marketing standpoint.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah.
Love it.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you, guys.